Good morning. Welcome to Hob Evolution episode 230. It is, what's up, Zach? It is Thursday, which means March Madness is upon us. Now, it's a little different this year. Um, the first four games will be played today. So, normally we've had a couple games already played. What's up, Herman? With the first four games in Daytona. However, they're all in a bubble in Indianapolis, which, by the way, Indianapolis is like the coolest city in the country. Okay. Now, I'm saying that as a small town guy. So, uh, Indianapolis is the perfect large city for a small town person because everything is so compact. I love Indy. Everything is like downtown within walking distance. It's got like that small town square feel, but in this large city. Um, so we would play, what's up, George? So we would play IUPUI. We like to call them, well, everybody likes to call them Ooey Pooey. IUPUI, Indiana University, Purdue University at Indianapolis. So IUPUI and IPFW, which is Indiana Purdue at Fort Wayne, offer both classes. Offer classes from both institutions. And I think IPFW is like the engineering. They're more in line with Indiana. IUPUI is more in line with Purdue. I think that's how it goes. Anyway, go Austin P. What's up, Brad? Good morning. So I love Indianapolis. We would play IUPUI. We'd stay at the Omni downtown. And the very first time we went to Indianapolis, I would basically, some of these short road trips for us were all on bus, and it was like a quick business trip. You drive over the day before the game, you get there like in the afternoon, there's a walkthrough, dinner, and then we might play like an 11 a.m. Saturday game. And then, Saturday night, we may have some free time. We're on the road for, probably IPFW on the next day. So, usually I would take like my suit, and I think at this time I was just taking like workout shorts, like mesh shorts and a t-shirt for the workout room. And that's it. So I didn't bring anything casual. Like if I wanted to go out on my own for dinner or walk around. Now, mind you, it's also basketball season, so it's in the winter. So the only thing I have is a suit and mesh basketball shorts. So we get there, and I realize I think I wore the suit on the bus. Actually, I think I brought two suits. I brought like a travel suit, and so I just had like dress pants and a dress shirt, jacket. Like, what am I? I didn't even bring like a regular winter coat, and it's like 20 degrees. So we're staying at the Omni downtown, and I'm like, I've got to go find somewhere to get like a shirt or a jacket or something. So we end up walking down to the stadium. What is it? Is it not Pro Player Stadium? Whatever the stadium the Indianapolis Colts play in. It's like 3 blocks away. So we walk down and go to the team store, and I think I still have the Indianapolis Colts. It doesn't fit me. I've grown out of it. But an Indianapolis Colts zip down like jacket. So Indianapolis Colts are like that, like basic blue. And my basketball shorts are like North Carolina, like Tar Heel blue. So I'm wearing these Tar Heel blue basketball shorts with this blue zip down Colts jacket. And me and another guy in the travel party went to the Ram, which is awesome. Great burgers, awesome beer. The Ram was just down the street from our hotel. And then the next day we walked down the used to be called like what, Market Square Arena. All these arenas change, and I don't know what they're called anymore. But the Pacers Stadium was in the other direction, and I love Indianapolis. So the tournaments, that's the reason why I started rambling about Indianapolis, was everybody, all 68 teams are in Indy for the NCAA tournament. So, so the brackets are out. Now I have not bet, like, only a couple people. Like, normally I get bombarded with people saying, hey, join my office pool, join my bracket, join this, join that. This year, like hardly any. One of the guys that usually runs it, he's running one again. My office isn't doing one. My one of the offices in my company is doing one. So that's the only like competitive bracket I'm feeling, and that's just for bragging rights. I think they do make a trophy, a plaque. What's up, David? Good morning. So I'm not in any like gambling pool. Well, technically I am, because these two brackets represent my wife and I, and so we will compete, and the loser of between the two of us has to buy sushi. So that's the only gambling in the brackets that I'm in. So I wanted to break down my bracket, and like I mentioned, I think I talked about this yesterday or earlier this week. I love the tournament ever since like third or fourth grade when I was homesick from school. I've got 5 channels to watch on TV. One of them magically had college basketball on all day long. So it was a Thursday or Friday. And then from that point forward, I was filling brackets out in study hall. That's why I was a poor student. So that's what I was doing. So here we go. So printed out the brackets. My wife and I filled these out last night. I put a little more consideration in mine, which when I worked in college athletics, we could fill out brackets, but absolutely nothing could be on the line. It was strictly for bragging rights. I think the first year that I was working, I was like, I'm not even going to go down that path because I'm going to want to compete for more than bragging rights. So the first year I worked at the university, I didn't even fill a bracket out because I didn't want to go down. But then like the second year, third year, it's like, okay. But the brackets that I did fill out when I was working in college athletics, and that was my job. Like watching Division I college basketball was my job, and watching all of these teams, like I got paid to do that, and I would get last in these bracket pools. So in all honesty, the talking heads, they know just as much as we do when it comes to the tournament. Yeah, they can dissect it a little bit better. But it's a total crapshoot when it comes to bracket time. So I didn't really watch much college basketball this year. I mean, it was so much different. So there wasn't some of the big tournaments that I really get sucked into around Thanksgiving. We had some big games, but I really didn't follow it as closely. I watched some Illinois games. Obviously, I watched Wisconsin games. But overall, I didn't watch too much basketball, which I think helps, at least in my case. I don't overthink it, because that's what happens. I overthink and I fail because I look at it at, I don't know. I break it down too much. So my wife actually won my office pool a few years ago. And she picked one. I think it was Ole Miss, because she loves the movie Blind Side. So she had them going to like the Final Four because it's a great movie. So when she wasn't even looking at the bracket. I was at the kitchen counter, and I was just throwing. I'm like, Gonzaga or Oklahoma, Creighton or Santa Barbara, and she's like, oh, Santa Barbara, that's where Emily lives. So that's how she picks. That's how she picks these. I didn't even give her seed numbers. And she did pretty well on there was nothing outrageous with her bracket. I was impressed. So my bracket's Final Four has Gonzaga out of the West. I have Gonzaga beating Iowa in the Elite Eight. In the East bracket, I have Florida State over Texas. So I've got the Seminoles. I've got Florida State beating Michigan in the Sweet 16. So then I've got the Seminoles in the Final Four playing Gonzaga. On the other side of the bracket, I've got Ohio State beating Baylor. So I've got the 2 over the 1. And then I've got Illinois as my other Final Four team, Illinois beating West Virginia. Sorry, Ken. I've got the Illini over the Mountaineers. So I've got Ohio State, Illinois, Florida State, Gonzaga. So that's what, 2 number 1 seeds, a number 2 seed, and a number 4 seed. I hate going straight chalk, although it seems like straight chalk will net you more points. But so that's my final 4: Gonzaga, Florida State, Ohio State, Illinois. Championship game, I've got Gonzaga versus Illinois in the national championship game. First time for the Illini since 2005 against North Carolina. In that game, I was rooting for the Tar Heels. I was a big Tar Heels. I was on the bandwagon with the Tar Heels in the 90s. And I grew up an Iowa Hawkeyes fan, so I was always anti-Illinois. Now I've come around and I root for the Illini, unless they're playing Wisconsin. Sometimes I root for Iowa against Illinois too. It just depends. So I've got Gonzaga over Illinois in the title game. Gonzaga is my national champion over Illinois. Some upsets I have in my bracket. I do have Santa Barbara. I believe they're the Gauchos. I've got Santa Barbara over Creighton in the classic 12-5 matchup. And then I've got UCSB moving into the Sweet 16. I've got them knocking off Virginia. Virginia, I think, was the last team to reach Indianapolis because of COVID. And so they've been they had their games canceled. So that's me overthinking it. They're going to be rusty. So I've got UCSB over Virginia and then losing to Gonzaga. Okay, I've got tonight, Drake plays Wichita State. That's a pretty good play-in game. There's some good play-in games. I like the play. Well, 2 of the 4. 2 of them are 16 seeds, so but 2 of them are classics. So Wichita State, Drake. I've got Drake beating the Shockers, and then I've got Drake beating USC, and then I've got the Drake Bulldogs beating Kansas to reach the Sweet 16. And then I've got an all-Iowa matchup in the Sweet 16 again between the Drake Bulldogs out of Des Moines facing Iowa City's Hawkeyes from the University of Iowa. So that's my West bracket. Moving to the East, I've got another 12-5 upset. Georgetown, Patrick Ewing guides the Hoyas to a win over the Buffaloes from Colorado. And then I've got them going down to Florida State in the second round. Here's another play-in game that's going to be great. I've got Michigan State over UCLA in today's play-in game. I've got Sparty pulling off the upset over BYU, which, by the way, terrible news for the BYU community. Sean Bradley paralyzed. Apparently he was involved in a bicycle accident in January, and he's now paralyzed. It's just awful news. So I've got Michigan State beating BYU and then losing to Texas in the second round. And then I've got UConn versus Alabama. Texas beats Bama. Florida State over Michigan. Seminoles in the Final Four. South bracket. I've got North Carolina over Wisconsin. That's not an upset. That's an 8 over a 9. But that's just strange for me as a Badger fan. I can see Wisconsin coming out, beating North Carolina, and knocking off number 1 Baylor. Wisconsin is that good to pull that off. But they're also that inconsistent and bad to lose in the first round. Now, I thought they were going to get like a 7 seed and play like a mid-major 10 seed and, probably lose to a mid-major. They get the 8-9 matchup against the Tar Heels. North Carolina's pretty inexperienced, so this is a crapshoot. This is a 50-50. I don't know what the line in Vegas is on this, but it's probably a pick 'em. I've got North Carolina over Wisconsin. I just don't have faith. Too inconsistent on Wisconsin, so I've got North Carolina. And then I've got Baylor knocking off the Tar Heels in the second round. What's up, Dan? Good morning. Breaking down the NCAA tournament bracket. So my next big upset, I've got Winthrop beating Villanova. Villanova is another team, and I think Colin Gillespie's out. So I've got Winthrop knocking off Villanova. So now I'm 3 for 3 on 12-5 upsets. Winthrop over Villanova. I've got Purdue over North Texas. Then I've got that another 12 seed reaching the Sweet 16. I've got Winthrop over Purdue. and then Baylor beats Winthrop. I've got Texas Tech versus another upset. Colgate knocks off Arkansas. So I've got Colgate over Arkansas. Then the Red Raiders of Texas Tech beat Colgate. We've got chalk in the next matchup. Florida over Virginia Tech. 2 Ohio State beats the Summit League's Oral Roberts. I've got Ohio State over Florida, then Texas Tech to beat Baylor in the Elite Eight. Now moving on to the Midwest region. I've got Illinois versus Loyola. So we've got an all Illinois matchup. I did hear news. I think one of Georgia Tech's top stars is out because of COVID. So I've got Loyola, who is really good number 8 seed. I've got Loyola over Georgia Tech, and that's going to make a dang good matchup in the second round between the Illini and the Ramblers. I do have Illinois winning there. I've got Tennessee over Oregon State, the only 5 seed on my bracket to win, the Volunteers. They beat Oregon State. I've got the number 1 draft pick in this year's draft. It'll be Cade Cunningham out of Oklahoma State. I've got them beating Liberty and then knocking off Tennessee before losing to Illinois. Then moving down, I've got another 11-6 update. Syracuse over San Diego State. West Virginia beats Morehead State. The Mountaineers beat Syracuse. Rutgers, the 10 out of the Big Ten. I have them beating Clemson, although one of my good friends works with the men's basketball program at Clemson. He'll probably get some TV time, but sorry, Ben. I've got the Tigers going down to the Scarlet Knights. Houston beats Cleveland State, and then Rutgers over Houston. West Virginia beats Rutgers, setting up that Illinois-West Virginia. So my final 4, Gonzaga, Florida State, Illinois, Ohio State, Gonzaga over Illinois for the national championship. Now, my wife hasn't watched a second of college basketball, but she picked a bracket, and we've got sushi on the line. Her final 4. George was enrolled there during the Bruce Pearl days. He would come into the student union and fire. I love Bruce Pearl. I know he's hated. And growing up in Illinois, he's really hated because of the whole Deion Thomas thing in like 1989. He was an assistant at Iowa, the whole thing. He's still like the most hated man in college basketball in the state of Illinois. But I love Bruce Pearl. My wife's final 4, she also has Gonzaga. She has Maryland out of the East. Maryland's a 10 seed. My wife has a 10 seed in the final 4. She's got Villanova in the final 4. And she has the Volunteers of Tennessee in the final 4. And I think that's because one of her friends lives in Nashville. So her bracket, some big upsets. She also has Santa Barbara because Emma lives in Santa Barbara. She has Santa Barbara beating Creighton. Then she has number 13, Ohio, knocking off Virginia. That's a smart pick. I almost picked that myself because of Virginia's COVID issues. I like that upset. I did not pick that. She picks Ohio over Virginia. Then she has the Bobcats beating Santa Barbara in that classic, the ever classic 13-12 second round matchup. So she has Ohio then losing to Gonzaga. Then she's got USC beating the play-in winner, Kansas over Eastern Washington. She's got Kansas over USC, Oregon over VCU. She had to ask what VCU was. Not surprising. That's Shaka Smart, who, by the way, Shaka grew up just 20 minutes down the road from us in Oregon, Wisconsin. Speaking of Oregon, that's who VCU plays. Although Shaka is now at Texas. We'll get to him in a second. Iowa then plays Oregon, and she's got the Ducks of Oregon knocking off the 2-seeded Hawkeyes, and then Kansas over Oregon. Sorry, Herman, you're going to have to skip to tomorrow. There's not much card talk today. Down in the East, I've got, this is my wife's bracket. She's got LSU and Michigan. Wolverines win that. She also has Georgetown in the 12-5 upset. And then she's got another 12-13 second round matchup. Greensboro. I think my wife lived there briefly. She's got Greensboro over Florida State, and then she's got Georgetown with the win over Greensboro. She's got Michigan State as the play-in winner, beating BYU. I also have that. She's got then the Spartans beating Texas. And then Maryland with the upset win over UConn, playing Alabama. She's got the Terps over Bama, and Maryland beating Michigan State, and then Maryland beating Michigan to meet up with Gonzaga. So we go to the other side of the bracket. She does have Bucky winning over North Carolina. She's got a homer pick. She's got Wisconsin over Baylor. My wife picks the Badgers over Baylor. No love for Waco today. Sorry, Brad. Villanova and North Texas in the second round. She's got North Texas. And here's the funny part. My wife is a Hoosier. She lived mostly in Madison, but she went to IU. She went to Indiana, and she picked North Texas over Purdue because why? F Purdue. And she used the F bomb. So she's got North Texas over Purdue, and then Villanova beating North Texas. Texas Tech in Arkansas. She's got Tech over Arkansas. She's got Virginia Tech beating Florida. And then she's got the Hokies knocking off Ohio State. And then she's got Virginia Tech moving on, beating Texas Tech before losing to Villanova to reach the Final Four. Let's see. In the final bracket, we're going down to the Midwest region. Illinois and Georgia. She's got Georgia Tech beating Loyola. Tennessee facing Liberty. So she's got Liberty knocking off Cade Cunningham in the Oklahoma State Sooners. Liberty over OK State, and then Tennessee beating Liberty. Syracuse winning and matching up with West Virginia. She's got the Mountaineers winning there. And then she's got Rutgers beating Clemson. Then my wife pulls the 15-2 upset. She's got Cleveland State beating number 2 seed Houston. And then Rutgers knocks off Cleveland State to face West Virginia. Mountaineers win that. Then they go on to lose to Tennessee. And she's got Gonzaga, Maryland, Villanova, Tennessee in the Final Four. Her championship, Gonzaga beats Tennessee in the national championship game. So her seeds, a 1, a 10, a 5, and 2 5s. Wow, she's got 2 5s, a 1, and a 10 in the Final Four. So we'll see. The loser has to pay for sushi. All right, Herman, you can turn the volume up. I'm going to stop talking basketball. So I'm going to talk a little organization real quick, and then I've got to run. Organization is key. I ran into that. So we talked about organization, how I organize my eBay store and the boxes that I have. Kind of the plan all along is just to get unburied from my eBay sales. And then tomorrow is like my organization sorting day. I'm just going to splay out my cards on the rec room floor. I've got college basketball on. And I've got to organize because I've got piles everywhere in the piles. I even organized. So I loaded up 600 cards into the store last week, and I had to sit down and organize them because there were just piles and I couldn't keep track. It finally hit me. I've been able to manage my piles until this week. It's really bogged me down being unorganized, and I made that fatal mistake of dropping 600 cards without having them sorted and organized, and now here I am way behind the 8 ball. I should be much further ahead of where I am, so I'm going to fix that today. I have been entering. I've got like 600 this week alone. I've got over 600 listings ready to click upload. So I'm gonna aim for 1,000 for this weekend. But first, I'm gonna organize everything in my store, and then I'm gonna organize the 1,000 that I'm going to be adding. Fortunately, like 300 of those are from one set, so that's easy, and they're already sorted numerically, so that'll be easy. But the rest I'll have to put aside. So that's the plan for the weekend. First is my current eBay stuff. I'm gonna do that tonight. Get those sorted. And it's just, I mean, I'm going through piles, and usually I know if it's a single card sale or a couple sales from similar cards, or if I listed them at a similar time, I can manage it. But I've had a couple orders this week where they were 30 or 40, and obviously that's the goal. Like, I want to make 30 card sales instead of a single 99-cent sale. But it slows me down. And that's actually why I stopped selling on Sport Lots, because I was getting these 100 card orders on Sport Lots, but they were all from different sets, and it was taking me a half an hour just to fulfill one order. But I think I'm able to with eBay. You don't have that. I don't have, also different. I have 4,000 cards listed in eBay as opposed to 100,000 in my Sport Lot store when I was selling, and cards are moving like in and out. Like I listed those 600 cards on Friday night, and by Sunday I had sold over 100 already. So there's a lot of in and out, much quicker turnaround on eBay than selling commons on Sport Lots. So that's on my side. But it's really bogging me down trying to find, it's like, oh crap. And then usually as I'm going down my eBay order list, like I'll see, I'll pull this card. Oh, it's a George Foster 1980 Topps, 91 score Bojacks, and a Heritage Then and Now. So I'll kind of keep that in my mind. Okay, I'm looking for these cards. I'll go through, and I'll sort through this pile. Oh, I remember somebody bought that. So I've got a pretty good memory on what is being sold. So when I'm sorting the piles, I'm not just going through 500 cards looking for a single card. I'm going through 500 cards, and I'm able to pull out, a dozen or 20 or, 25 cards that I know are also needing to be shipped. So for the first time, it finally caught up to me. And I should have known better, dropping 600 cards on a Friday night and then going out of town most of the day Saturday, and then not having them organized. That was just a big fail on my part. So this next run, looking to put 1,000 cards in the eBay store this weekend. Those will be sorted before launch. So Herman said he had a record volume day on eBay. That's awesome. Hopefully that was, and I think Herman and I were talking about that. It seems there's got to be like weird algorithms with eBay, because it seems like I'll have like no sales. Like I'll go hours without a sale, and then all of a sudden I start shipping. It's like, oh, I haven't made a sale. That stinks, but I can catch up on shipping, and I'll ship an item out, and all of a sudden I'll get a notification. Oh, item sold. Oh, item sold. Oh, item sold. And it's like, there's got to be this weird algorithm that like, okay, well, you've shipped 5 items. We're going to open the floodgates, and 5 people are going to come in, and your store is open. It's wacky like that. And I there's got to be something behind it, because it's happened multiple times with me where I'll, ship a few items, and all of a sudden a couple items sell after like having no activity for hours. I'm going to catch up on the chats, and then I'll run because Brad's got to go live. Brad, we've missed you. Brad, I hope you're feeling better. I felt bad. I think I sent you a message, and then I watched your video from yesterday. So get well. I hope you're doing better. We need you, buddy. So Brad's coming up next on his channel, 7:45-ish, on the Texas Card Dude channel. Herman had his in batches to start with. That's what got me in trouble. Yep, the piles, man. The piles get me. That's for sure. Gonna show cards. Yes, Brad is gonna show cards from the card show today. I may actually, speaking of card shows, I may have some exciting news to share in the next week or so pertaining to card shows. So stay tuned for that. That's a little tease. Let's see. Diego, I missed your what's your typical start time, first time chatter, recent watcher, and follow? Diego, thank you very much. So Diego, typically I go live between 7 and 7:15. It kind of varies. But I'm always on around this time. I try to wrap up by it's 7:40 now. I try to have things wrapped up by 7:40, but usually I'm live between 7 and 7:15. I will tweet. I will tweet on my account, 1 million Cubs. I'll tweet the live link about a minute before I go live. So I'll tweet that link out, and I won't hit live for about a minute or 2 minutes after I tweet out that link, just to give anybody a couple minutes lead time from Twitter. Yep, 7 to 7:15. Thanks, Brad. And then Brad will go live next on his channel. Brad is Texas Card Dude. So Texas Card Dude is live on his channel right after I go. So he's going to be on in the next 5 or 10 minutes. So check him out, Texas Card Dude. And that's all. Armin, I apologize for all the basketball talk. I know Ken gets upset with all my baseball talk sometimes, or Project 70. But this is a good week for Ken because I talked WWE Living. I talked about something else. And today I talked about the tournament, and I talked about his West Virginia Mountaineers reaching do I got them in the Elite Eight? I do, but I have them losing to Illinois. So sorry. So that's all I had for today. Thank you for watching and listening to my college basketball bracket breakdown. Tomorrow I'll talk more cards. George bought the Pujols Project 70. I haven't touched on Project 70 in a while, so I think I will talk about that tomorrow. So I'll break down the Project 70 and my thoughts on it so far. So that's all. Tune into Brad next, Texas Card Dude channel. Thanks for watching and have a great Thursday. We'll talk tomorrow.